Hello and welcome back to Handheld Computing. Today we're having a look at the Rolodex RL8221 organizer. What on earth is that, you say? It's this. Described as a mini USB organizer. The first thing I would say about this is it is far from mini as far as USBs go. I'm not surprised you've never heard of it before, neither had I. Stumbled across it on eBay, it cost £8 and I couldn't resist. So let's take a look. Proudly advertised, we can store hundreds of names and numbers, organise your favourite internet addresses, and link directly to a PC via USB. 3-line screen and simple navigation. Let's hope that's true. Includes phone book, clock, date, alarm, and casino games. Now I am excited to see what they involve. Transfer and backup data to a PC without any wires, because it's transferred via USB. Flipping it over, so this is going to give me the freedom to take my favourite information everywhere. Simply cannot wait. So here's the only place I could find a date, which is 2004. It then says that the system requirements require Windows 98 or higher. Given that Windows XP was released in 2001, you would have thought that would have got a direct mention. So let's open it up and have a look at the contents. So this is the device itself. It's got a battery tag, so let's hope the batteries are still working. Pop its protective cap on. There's the cardboard packaging. And we've got a user guide. Let's have a quick look at this. License agreement, key guide, getting started. Lots of instructions, batteries, setting clocks, alarms, addresses, editing, removing, saving records, instructions for the games. On the other side, we've got another language. Let's see what else we've got. A lifetime of learning from Franklin. So we've got an advert for a couple of devices. Never seen one of these, never seen one of these. Seen those before, and I've seen one of those, but I've never seen one of these. So there's a whole world of other devices out there that we might need to look at in the future. And on the back, Spanish, English, talking Spanish, English, 12 language translators. Lovely, and I can save up to $10. I'm not sure I can still redeem that though. A registration card, so I'm going to win $100,000 with a bit of luck. Model registration and promoting better products. There we are, so I might fill this in later and post it off. I feel sure I'm going to win. And finally we've got the CD so that we can actually install things. Let's take a quick look at the device itself. So as I've already said, I would hardly consider this mini for a USB. I guess it'd fit in your pocket, though it is quite bulky. So on the back we've got a PC link button, the reset and the battery compartment, 4 retaining screws. And on the front, we've got a 4-way controller, presses in for enter from the looks of it, and a nice keychain. It's a bit stiff, but the protector for the USB is there. So let's install some software and then have a play. So I'm using my Fujitsu Siemens P1610 with an external CD drive. Let's pop it in and see what we've got. So popping the CD in automatically launches the software install. What we get is a simple database application. So under File, we can create a new database, open existing, save as, and of course exit. Under Data Bank, we have some import-export options. Options lets you choose a sync method and language. Help isn't actually helpful and just contains the About screen. Exit does what it suggests. Down the right hand side we have the phone book, favourites but called My Love, and on the bottom we have Add, Modify, Delete and Clear. Let's enter some names in the phone book. The name field can contain up to 40 letters and characters, including spaces. Telephone has up to 18 numbers and can include spaces. Mobile and ICQ are the same. The email can have up to 40 characters but no spaces. Once filled in, hitting Add saves it, and clear prepares it for the next entry. In my love, or favourites as some might call it, the site name field can contain up to 40 characters, including spaces, but the site address can contain up to 80 characters, but no spaces. Also, under site address, any capital letters become lowercase once saved. Once we've entered some data, we need to synchronize it. Plugging in the PDA, it automatically looks for the drivers, and this works fine on Windows XP. I did attempt to install this on Windows 10, but it wouldn't work properly. There's nothing else on the CD. I will upload a copy of it to the Internet Archive and pop a link below. So now we've transferred a little bit of information via the computer, let's turn it on and take a look at the device itself. So the way the dial works, we've got a mode button, an up, down, enter, and then there is a push in motion as well, although it's quite inaccurate and often registers as an enter. Pressing mode will turn the device on, and we come to the clock screen to start with. Since we're here, I'll show you how to set the clock. In order to change the clock and the date, all you do is press and hold enter until it starts flashing. This is in the American order, so this is month, day, year, and then obviously the time. Scrolling up and down will change the month. It changes the day automatically accordingly. Moving across, it lets you set up the day, the year, the hour, the minute, reset the seconds if you wish, and then goes back to the beginning. To change it from AM to PM, you need to settle on the hour, and then simply scroll up until it flips across the 12, and it'll go back to AM, and then you can scroll back through to set it back to PM. Pressing down obviously goes the other way. Once that's done, pressing enter will finalize it. From here, pressing mode takes us into the main screen. So this is the clock, which is the default application when you turn it on. Up and down move back and forth across the different options, and enter will go into them. So we've got world clock, we've got alarm, the telephone book, our favorites, the web addresses, and the games. And then last but not least, we've got settings. So we might as well start here. Pressing enter goes in. From here, we can go into language. We've got a few different languages we can choose from. That's the ones. Pressing mode will take us back to the main screen. Pressing enter will alter the language. And since I don't want to alter the language, we'll just go back to English and press enter. And then we go back to settings. So here we've got memory. This tells us how much capacity we've got left. Enter again takes us back. This is security, so we can set up a password on here. Scrolling up, we'll go through the numbers. You can only have numbers as a password. Pressing enter allows you to enter the next number, and then the next number again. Pressing enter and then enter again will let you set the password. I'm not going to do that, as it'll be very frustrating going back in with a password on. So I'm going to press mode, so we exit right back to the main menu. We'll go back into settings, and we can go down to battery. So this shows the capacity. Oh, that looks a bit dead, but this is the original battery, so not a shock. Enter takes us back. We've got the option of sound on or sound off. I'm going to leave it on for the moment. And finally, we've got contrast. So pressing enter allows us to go up and down on the contrast, darkening or brightening the screen. So I'm going to leave it there, which seems a good contrast level. And that's all the options in here. Scrolling across, there's time. We've already looked at that. This is the world clock. Going into here, you select your area with the up and down arrows. Once you've decided where your area is, pressing enter lets you choose different places within that area. Once you've picked, just press enter, and then that's your world clock set. Next, we've got alarms. Enter goes into the alarm. Up or down changes the alarm on or off. Once the alarm's up, all you need to do is press and hold enter, the same as the clock. Once it starts flashing, you can change the time you want it set to. Again, to get AM and PM, you just need to scroll past the 12. The alarm itself is quite loud. This is the phone number storage. Going into here, we can see it starts with address at the top. Pressing enter again brings up a new entry. So this lets you use the up-down arrows, characters. If you go up, heading down, we'll select numbers first and then scroll through the alphabet. Enter moves to the next character. Enter again without putting a new character in, we'll move to the next input option. Enter again, next input option, enter again, ICQ, still don't know what that means. Enter again, email, so you can pop an email in, and enter again, we'll save it. Once we're at the address icon, pressing up or down takes us to our list. So we can see we've got Albert Einstein we put in, we've got F, which we put in just now, Harry Potter, and me that I put in earlier, and finally we've got James T. Kirk. So if we pop into one of the entries by pressing enter, you can see it brings up the first part, name, Harry Potter, and as you can see we get quite a lot of information on the screen. It's 10 characters and 2 lines. It's a shame that it still puts name at the top, because if it didn't we could have had 3 lines of 10 characters. Pressing enter moves to the next entry, the next entry, the next entry, and finally the last entry. If the entry is longer than the 20 characters we've got, we'll see a little arrow here, and we'll look at that in a moment, and that indicates that you can use the up down to scroll up and down through the information that's there. There's no search function on this, so you have to scroll up or down to find the number or the person that you're looking for. Pressing mode takes us right back to the beginning, and we'll have a look at the next one. So this is the web address. Pressing enter tells us it's favorite. Pressing enter again allows us to enter a new web name and then a new address. Pressing up takes us into our already synchronized favorites. As you can see, we've got a few in there already. Pressing enter takes us into the one that we've got, and this one is a little bit longer than the 20 characters that we've allotted, so we can scroll down and see the rest, and then it's got an up arrow to conveniently tell us we've gone far enough. Mode takes us back to the beginning, and finally we've got games. Prepare to be wowed. Okay, so they're not that good. Pressing enter, we've got 3 options: slot, dice, and lotto. So these are all gambling games of some sort. Pressing enter on slot takes us here. Pressing up allows us to enter a bet. So you can have between 1 and 9. We'll go for a modest 5. Pressing enter runs the game. So this game both takes too long and is far too loud. I can't really imagine that anyone would sit around playing slots on here. Perhaps I'm wrong. If I am, pop a comment below. So we'll head back and have a look at the next game, which is dice. Again, pressing up allows us to add a bet. We'll go for 5 again and hit go. So the graphics aren't that bad, the noise is horrendous, and to be honest, it's far too long to wait for a result. I don't really feel like it's building any tension. And we're still going. And we're nearly there. And we're almost ready. And we finally have a result. Oh, look, 2 5s. I think that means I lost. Okay. Either way, I'm not really sure on the rules for these, so we'll just move on. Finally, we've got Lotto. So scrolling up and down allows you to select a number. You can then press enter to select a corresponding number, and then you can press enter again, and it does this, where it says 1 to 1. Up and down doesn't appear to do anything, and pressing enter gives us this wonderful animation. Once again, long time for a random number generator. don't really understand the principle, and there's nothing in the instructions to enlighten me as to the rules to this game. Is it even a game? Given the period it came out in and the number of pixels we've got on the screen, they could have put a Tamagotchi on here, or perhaps a game of Tetris. That would have been much better in my opinion. Heading back to mode, and we've gone full circle, so that's an overview of all the applications on here and how to enter text. So I think in conclusion, this USB PDA is a bit of an anomaly, especially when you think that it's brought to you by the same people who created the Rec 6000. Link here. On the plus side, it has a clear screen, a very simple to use interface, a nice loud alarm, and while I wouldn't describe it as mini, it's not massive and so very portable. On the downside, it's got no calendar function, there's a single alarm, you can't set multiple alarms, entering any kind of data on the go is both frustrating and slow, and as for the games on it, I'm not really sure we're going to call them games. Would I recommend buying one? Absolutely not. Feel free to disagree. If you do, pop a comment below, but in all honesty, I think it's more of a novelty item than anything else, and I don't see that it was ever particularly practical for data storage. This could have easily been rectified by adding a calendar and perhaps a database for storing memos rather than a favorites database. Perhaps you disagree, perhaps you even use one of these. If that's the case, pop a comment below. I'd love to hear what you're using it for. If you've enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit like and subscribe. As always, my name's Hugh. This is Handheld Computing. Thanks for watching.